Everybody in the band loves video games, but we all like different video games. We played video game music for years, but kind of when the idea of maybe doing more came up, it was what music should we do? So I asked a lot of my friends who are gamers, if you came to a video game music show, would you want to see just Mario, just Zelda, just, name a game? And the consensus was they wanted a smattering. They wanted to see some retro stuff, but maybe some newer stuff like Undertale. Everyone's going to want their own thing because the game industry is so huge now. Picking the set list was equally hard because once you had game series you wanted to do, it was like, what songs do you feature from the games? Like I've been working on the Halo suite primarily this week. Picking what tracks from Halo to do was a challenge, and I spent some time replaying the games to think, like, what do I remember from when I played them years ago and what songs jump out at me? Because you can't not play the main theme, but beyond that you're like, well, there's some other really great music in Halo 2. It'd be a shame to just do only the main theme. We're doing some Cuphead stuff too, and it's the same thing. It's like there's a ton of amazing music that went to that game. How do we pick what to do? There's definitely a consideration for the personnel that we have and what we can do given the number of people on stage and what instruments they play. And some of this music is, of course, very challenging, so that's something to consider as well. I think we struck a really good balance between, iconic game series and game music to accompany it, and then also doing some expected stuff, but also kind of maybe bringing in some stuff that someone who's a bigger fan of video games might not expect, but that other people that haven't heard it before or played the game can really enjoy. In terms of how to take the music from the game and bring it to the band. So for some of the newer stuff, that's pretty straightforward. They've used live music soundtracks, and some of it is big band stuff. So we have to make some small adjustments for who's playing and what instruments we have exactly, but it's not a huge deal. It's definitely more close to the original in that way. For some of the older stuff, Castlevania, for instance, it's like there's the original, which came out of the NES, but then there's a lot of like later games, like when that stuff comes up in Smash Bros or YouTube covers, there's a lot of creativity in, like, are we doing more, is it more metal? Is there more of a metal concept here? Is it more orchestral? So I think with us, it's, for some of the more expected ones, we're using that as an opportunity to take more liberties with the arrangement and bring kind of our own unique DTW flavor to the songs, whereas some of the stuff that's a little more modern is more of an excuse to try to really service what the original was about. I have a lot of event experience from running Funk in the Forest here, but this type of production is very different, and we haven't done something of this scale yet.